everyone, Savannah here, and welcome back to my channel. Today is Tuesday, April 6th, and it is 8 a.m. exactly. I wanted to go ahead and get this started as quickly as possible today, because I got a little bit to show. So, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I appreciate you stopping by. If you are returning, thank you very much for putting up with this. That is this. So I am the owner and dyer behind Sewlivi Dyes Yarn. And you can find all my social media links and everything I talk about will be in the description below this video, so that if there's anything you want to see in further detail, you can go ahead and click below. If I forget anything that I mentioned, please just comment and I will respond as quickly as possible. I tend to forget because I'll record this video now, and I'll go ahead and get it like uploaded and maybe edited before I have to leave for work. But then usually I don't fill out the description box until after I get home from work, and then by then I completely forget what I talk about. So go ahead and just comment if I forget anything. My cat is over here being super cute, begging for attention, so that's distracting. He's so cute. He and Zeus, Orange and Zeus, they turned 10 this month. I'm not sure what day. I'm just guessing based on when their adult teeth came in, when we first brought them home. So I'm guessing they're about 4 or 6 months when I brought them home. So yeah, Orange and Zeus turned 10 this month. And so whenever I see them wanting attention, like if they're asking for attention or they want to snuggle, I try, as much as it sucks because it's usually when I'm trying to do something, I try to take a few minutes out of my day, because as crazy as it sounds, you never know if it's gonna be their last cuddle. They don't have any, well, Orange doesn't have any health issues that we're aware of. Zeus, he's a big old boy. He has a really bad knee. His teeth aren't so great. We've already had to remove like 13 of them, and that was years ago. So yeah, and he does a lot of this reverse sneezing thing. So him specifically, we worry about him. Anyways, that's a lot about my cats, right? My weekend, Easter weekend, it was very eventful. That's why I want to talk about it. Normally I don't really talk about life things just because I don't feel like I have a lot going on in my life. This last weekend was a lot. So Easter weekend, Saturday morning, we did an egg hunt with our church. And it was gorgeous weather. The whole weekend was fantastic weather in the 70s. It was our first like 70s days, degrees Fahrenheit, sorry. That's about 20 degrees Celsius, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but it was warm, very sunny. And so we we took full advantage of the warm weather. So we did the egg hunt, and then I went home. Well, I went over to my neighbors with my son because she took him home. And my husband ended up going with my daughter and the 2 little girls who live next door, who are the exact same age as Livy. And funny enough, they look like the 2 girls, they're twins, but they're fraternal twins. Liv has the exact same hair color as these girls, so they can really pass as triplets. Anyway, so they convinced my husband to go on a walk after the egg hunt, and my husband says it was probably a 2-mile walk because the girls kept going in different directions away from the house. So my poor husband got so sunburnt. I mean, you can kind of tell. I got pretty sunburned on Sunday. Like my knees, I had holes in my jeans. My knees hurt. Can you tell I have my watch on now? Let's take that off. Nice and sunburnt. Anyway, so he came back bright red and his feet hurting a bit because of the walk. So we hang out for a little bit at home. I do some knitting. And then, what was it? I decided to go ahead and do some laundry, or at least wanted to do some laundry. I come down here and I fill up the, no, it was actually loaded. It was already in there. I was going to rewash it just because it had been sitting in there. I know. Anyways, it wouldn't turn on. Like I could turn it on to where it's supposed to fill up with water. It wouldn't fill up at all. It just started agitating instead. I couldn't get it to start filling up with water until I got it to the rinse and soak cycle. And even then it would start to fill up, but it would agitate at the same time. So it was just throwing water everywhere. And I was just like, oh my goodness. So my husband and I decided it was time. This washer and dryer that we had came with this house when we purchased it in 2014. And I'm assuming it's original to the house because this house was built in 2011. So it's old, you know, old machine. And it was very basic. There was only like 3 settings on the machine. So we went and we left the kids with our neighbors and we went to 6 stores. We have more than what I'm going to list, but we have 3 Lowe's and 3 Home Depots within 15 minutes of our house in different directions. So we went to all of those. We went to 2 Home Depots, and then we went to a Lowe's, and then we went to another Home Depot and Lowe's, and then we came all the way back up and went to the Lowe's that's up north. My husband was really hoping that he could find like an open package on the floor, you know, the clearance, the stuff that's like dinged or scratched or dented kind of thing, so that he could get a deal so we could get a new washer and dryer, which would have been fantastic. I've never had a new washer or dryer before. I've always had hand-me-downs or, you know, old stuff. Anyways, so we did that. We went to all those stores. Nobody had anything on the floor. You know, we were talking to one of the sales associates and they're like, yeah, they go so fast. They could be put out and by 6 a.m. they're gone when they open for like contractors and stuff like that. So I was like, okay. So, you know, we're looking, and then we realized that stock is really low in the stores right now. So we do find one that I'm okay with. You know, it has a delicate cycle for knit socks, so I'm okay. I initially had thought I wanted one without an agitator in the middle, but I had talked to a few people about that prior, and everybody says that it does not clean clothes very well. It leaves like a residue on your clothes. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just get the agitator. So the one that we got has the agitator. It has several settings, which is fantastic. And it's so different than what I'm used to, just the way that it works. It's really nice. I like it. And the drum, I feel like the drum of the wash machine feels bigger than what I had before too. So even with the agitator in it, I think I'm satisfied. I mean, I am. I'm happy with it. We did not get a dryer because like I said, we didn't want to spend that much money. Our dryer is just fine for now. So yeah, that was fun. So after all that, we brought it home. Our neighbor came over to help us take out the old one and put the new one in because it got up and down the stairs. By that time, it's like 7, almost 8 o'clock, and I'm like, crap, I haven't fed the kids. I need to get them in bed. So I do that, get them into bed, and then my poor husband is just like, he's done. He's broken. His back is killing him. His feet are killing him. I feel so bad for him. Anyways, so Saturday ends. We wake up Sunday. We go to church for Sunday. We start tearing down because our church is in the school because it's a baby church. So we have to set up and tear down every Sunday. This is going to be a long video, isn't it? So, we go to service, we have service, we start tearing down, and we get to where everything is outside, ready to be put into the shed that the school lets us have on the property, and my husband just can't do it anymore. He is in so much pain. So we leave. He feels bad because there's not that many people that stay behind and help. So he feels bad that he didn't stay to help finish loading up the shed, but I'm like, you can't, so let's go. Excuse me. So we get home, he takes some ibuprofen, he lays down for a while. I do some more laundry in my new wash machine, and then I noticed my neighbors are outside hanging out on the sidewalk. So I go out there and, we just hang out and chit chat and have some sparkling water, whatever, those drinks. I forget, what are they even called? Anyways, we're out there drinking, sitting on the sidewalk, just chit chatting, and that sun's beating down. And as you can see, I got nicely burnt. You saw my arm. My knees are killing me. So that was that. It was hot. So that, just getting all that sun when you're not used to it is very draining at the same time. So there's that. I come back in to check on laundry, and I hear, so back that way, straight back this way is like our, the unfinished part of the basement. So it's more of our utility room where the furnace, the hot water heater, and storage is, and the cat boxes. I hear a noise back there that I'm not familiar with. So I go and check, and it's the hot water tank. It's just running, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. But I don't think too much of it. So I go back upstairs, go back outside for a while. My husband comes out at some point, and he's just like, our neighbors are so nice. They have this fancy like outdoor chair that kind of like is zero gravity type. So he's sitting in that. Neighbor gives him some more ibuprofen. He's just chit-chatting with his friends. I come back in the house, and then, just we're all hanging out. About dinner time, 5 o'clock dinner time, I come in, give the kids baths, get them ready with dinner, and I come back down here for a minute, and the hot water tank is still making that noise. So I'm like, what is going on? I walk back there. That's when I noticed the leak. It was leaking. Not a lot, thankfully. Did not leak a lot, so nothing is damaged. It almost got to our new carpet, but it didn't. So I run upstairs, and I'm like, Mike, the hot water is leaking all over the floor. So he comes downstairs, poor guy, hobbling. And sure enough, it's done. Kaput. I mean, it's as old as this house, so that sucked. So last night we turned it all off. We had no hot water. Monday, I had taken the day off so that I could dye yarn, which I'm going to show you here for the shop update. No hot water. So the only part of dyeing yarn with no hot water is washing the yarn after you dye it. My hands, thankfully I had like big gloves, like the big Rubbermaid ones that come up to like here for like doing cleaning or washing dishes. Those are thicker rubber, so that protected my hands pretty well. I didn't have to put my hands directly into cold water, but it was still pretty painful. So that sucked. And then the fact that I really needed a shower yesterday and we had no hot water. My husband was at work all day, and then when he came home, he decided he was gonna go and see if he could find a hot water heater for a decent price. Because our neighbor, he's a contractor with a builder. He was gonna try to get us like a deal on a hot water tank, but the people never got back with him, and then they closed at 4, so it was like pointless. So my husband went to Home Depot and got one for a decent price, and he and the neighbor installed it last night. So we're back to normal for now. Let's hope that is all of the issues that we're going to experience relatively in this time frame. My poor husband is also, you know, that was more weight that he had to do, so I'm hoping he's not as broken feeling today as he was on Sunday. I just feel really bad for him. Anyways, that was 15-16 minutes of me. I hope there's some bits that I can edit out, but if not, it was a weekend. It was a weekend. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into knitting. I'll show you this one first because it doesn't have a project bag. If you remember, I used lollipops to dye a sock blank a while back. Was this yarn? I decided to go ahead and start a pair of socks. And that was because this other pair of socks that I started for April's Rainbow Sock Chronicles knit along, I didn't have the right size needles, which I will go into more detail when I pull that one out. Anyway, so I was like, well, I want to start this sock, so let's just start it. So this is what I have so far. This pattern is All the Frills by Summer Lee Design. It is part of her shorty sock collection. And I really loved the ruffle cuff on the sock, so that's what made me want to use this for this sock. So did that, and then I decided I was going to follow the pattern and do a heel flap and gusset for the first time. Normally I would do a afterthought heel, but I was like, let's just go ahead and try it. And you know what? It's not that difficult. The heel flap was very easy. This little gusset bit, or the heel turn, that was easy. The only thing I needed to reference a video, which Summer Lee has an actual video on YouTube on how to do the pickup and gusset part. So I did reference that real quick just to make sure I knew how to pick up exactly. And yeah, so far so good. All on magic loop. It's the US one, or a 2.25 millimeter. And I love my little tiny speckles. They're so cute. So yeah, just one so far. And not too much because just picking it up whenever. I did most of this yesterday. So yeah. Next, last week I did do a lot of the carpool pickup. So I didn't have a sock to work on at that time, so I did put in some more of my, what is this? The Northeasterly blanket by Scananigans. It's by Melissa Alexander Loomis. It's the Northeasterly blanket. I have all of my scraps in a candy wrapper magic knot cake that I made. And when I say scraps, these are like, most of these are pretty small scraps. I keep all my big scraps, like 30 plus grams, up here, which you can't really see because you see that gray thing. It's a pencil case I bought in Korea, but it holds all my crochet hooks. But behind that is a bunch of like skeins of 30 plus grams of yarn. Anyway, so yeah, I finally got finished with this color and moved into the next one, which this red color is a homespun house colorway. And I can't remember the exact color. Let's see. I have all the little tags because it was a mystery bundle of, what are these, 10 gram minis Oh, it's got 10 grams. It's going to be a while before I get to the end of that guy. There's only 3 in here? Okay, let's see. What do I have? Holly Jolly Christmas, Jubilation, and Burnt. This isn't Burnt. Maybe this is Holly Jolly Christmas? I know there was 5 total, but I'm only seeing 3 tags in here. That's lovely. Just red, orangey red. In the camera it looks orangey red. In person it looks more red. But maybe it does have some orange undertones. And that's what the camera's picking up. Who knows, right? Right. This I'm knitting, I'm only knitting these 1 strand. I'm not holding it double like the pattern suggests if you're using fingering weight. And then I'm using US 3 or a 3.25 millimeter double pointed needles, just because. So yeah, I've been, oh, and I took it to church too. Last whip and then the new start. Oops. Oh, maybe it was Polly. That one fell out. That's what I thought. It was that. I think that one's Polly. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, my sweater, my test knit. This is the Wanderer pullover. By Tiffany Lynn of Tiff Hand Knits. This pattern is currently available, but I'm testing the updated portion of it. So if you want the update, you'll have to wait until May for that to be released. This is how far I've gotten. Let's see. Yes, okay, so I had a goal that I wanted to finish or split for the sleeves by the end of the month. I did hit it. I got it. So I don't have any other like real goals at this time. I'd like to just go ahead and get it done because I want to work on other things. So that's as far as I've gotten. The star is where I was the last time I showed you. So I've gotten pretty good progress. I did get nervous right here. So I was like, that's very shallow compared to what I've been knitting lately with sweaters. A lot of my sweaters have been oversized. So the raglan increase area had been pretty deep. This one's pretty shallow. So I measured it and it is shorter than the schematics on it's like an inch shorter, 1.5 inches shorter than what the schematics show. But then I was worried at first, but I was like, oh, well, this still needs to be blocked. So it should grow and be just fine. I have not tried this on yet, so I'm not entirely sure how it would feel anyways. But yeah, plus I'm also using, I believe the pattern calls for worsted weight. I know the original pattern called for DK. And that's why this yarn that I had originally picked for this pattern is a DK. Let's see here. What does it say in here? Suggested yarn and requirement. Option A is a heavy fingering. Wow. Heavy fingering and light sport. Held double. So would that make that a worsted weight if you have a sport plus a fingering? I think so. Is that all that's available? Because there's, that says option A. Where's option B? Option B is worsted weight. There's no space in between. That's why I couldn't find it. There's no space in between. Option B is worsted weight. So yeah, I think it's written for worsted weight. Like I said, the original was written, or it said DK in it, and that's why I purchased DK yarn. So my yarn is DK. I'm not holding it with anything. It is on its own. With the called for needle size, I believe. Yes. Let's double check. Yep, with a call for a needle. I can't remember if I hit gauge exactly, but my yarn is of merino, alpaca, and dongle tweed, so I know it will grow. So I'm not too worried about it. So you have the herringbone neckband, which you can also do. You'll have the herringbone cuffs, and the hem at the bottom could be either herringbone or twisted rib. I added this detail myself. And then the whole body is a slip stitch detail, and then the sleeves are just straight stockinette. So yeah, it's very soft and fluffy, and I love it. The yarns for this are no longer available, so sorry. They're both discontinued. Well, the black is discontinued. The green was a hand dyed by a friend. Last one is my new start, and this is my April socks for April. For the Rainbow Sock Chronicles by Lay Family Farm and So Sweet Violet. See, I got it. I finally got it after all this time. So I picked this pattern, which is Alvar by Fiona Alice. I love this. How that looks. So it calls for a US 1 and a US 0. I couldn't find where it calls for, or where you switch to a US 0, but I will talk about my issues with this. So here are the measurements: 8.25 or 9.25. So it's only 2-size sock. Only 2 sizes. 8.25, 9.25 inches. I'm roughly in the middle of that for my foot, so I'm like, okay, that should be just fine. Well, I go to cast this on, which these are toe-up socks. The stitches for these, it's a 74 or an 84 stitch sock. Those are the only 2 sizes. And because it does have intarsia in this, I wasn't sure about adjusting. Plus, I'm gonna hold it back a little. These are, each little block is 1 round. Well, round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, 5, 6. There's a lot of numbers in this, so I was like, I don't know if I can really fudge this at all to make it a 64 stitch sock, because that's what I normally wear. So I went ahead and I cast on the number with the US 1. I hit gauge with my yarn. I hit it perfectly. I've never hit gauge so perfectly in my life. So I kept doing it. I did the whole toe, and then I was looking at it, I'm like, this is huge. So I put it on my foot, which I'll insert pictures maybe on this side. I'll insert pictures. It was way too big. Way too big. So I went into Ravelry and I looked at other people's project of these socks, and almost all of them were like, it's way too big. It's too big, it's too big. Which is crazy. It's just crazy. So I had one needle that was a size 0. One. I bought this when I lived in Germany. Why? I don't know why I bought that size, because I wasn't knitting socks back then. I didn't knit anything this small before, like with, you know, that small of a needle before. But I did. I bought it in Germany. Unfortunately, it was only a 24-inch cable, so it was a little hard to do magic loop. Also, it is an Addi Turbo. I do not like these needles at all. They are not sharp. They do not make knitting any faster. This cable is very stiff. So I went and ordered some Chiagu size 0 in 32-inch so that I could finish this, because this was my floats, or not my floats, my ladders were really bad at the joints just because these needles are not good. So I went back and I did the toe again. And this looks like, and it's still the same numbers, you know, just down a needle size, and I think it'll still be just a hair big, but I'm hoping the intarsia section will pull it in a little bit more to make it tighter, and everything will be good. It's like, this looks really, but you can't even see because it doesn't want to focus on it. It's really sloppy looking right there, and I'm not happy about that. So I might have to tear it out and restart again once I get my new needles. I was kind of hoping I could just switch over to the new ones, but it's really bad. So I'll probably just start over. Because I really want to make these socks. It was sad. It's crazy that the only sizes are 74 and 84, and that she says the foot circumference unstretched is a 8.25 inch. That makes no sense. And I was hitting gauge and it was massive. Massive. So my yarns that I'm using are both by Sewlivi Dyes Yarn. So my yarn. This one is no longer available, but it's called Sun Shower. You can see it here knit up. Oops, there's so many threads. And this is from the other toe. I ripped it out. So I got myself a bunch of yarn strands hanging everywhere. And then the other color is a No Name by me. I use this one in my Sharon shawl, or Sharon Show shawl. It's just a deep blue, and I thought it'd be good for the intarsia sections. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. So that was my dilemma. Once those needles get here, which they should be here today, I can get back to this. I also ordered some size 0 9-inch circulars and a US 1 9-inch circular as well, just to test them out, see if I like them. Somebody's super chatty. Oh, I forgot to put this in there. So yeah, that's about it that I have been working on currently. Okay, quick shop update. Currently I have the color of the month listing available, so you can get April's or you can pre-order April's color, and it is based off of Minthe or Minthe. I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce it. It's M-I-N-T-H-E. So Minthe. She's this deep red, and she usually wears black, so she looks really pretty. She's not a very nice person at all, but she is part of the story, so that is for April. Thank you everybody so much for purchasing yarn during my spring sale. This is pretty empty, and I am very stoked about that. So yesterday, like I mentioned earlier, I dyed a bunch of yarn, just a small batch of everything for now, of some new colors. I really love a lot of these, probably all of them. So I'll go ahead and show you what I have. So we have, oh, the lighting is not very good. So we have a pale pink. It's very light pink. Nothing has names yet. That's something me and my daughter and I need to work on. But we have a light pink, 2 skeins. This one has to be probably my favorite. This beautiful soft yellow. Oh, it's so gorgeous. I was worried this wasn't going to be like dark enough, like when I was dyeing it, which is weird too, because when your yarn is wet, when you're dyeing it, it's always darker than what it will be like when it's dry. This came out fantastic. Fantastic. Looks like there's something there. It's just shadow. It's beautiful, soft yellow. And then I did a green. So these are very tonal like. There are variations in the skeins, which is going to be hard to show you on the camera because of the lighting. This is a lighter patch. Yeah, that's probably the one that you can see the most is right there. So all of these are tonals with slight variations in the colorway or the colors. I did a soft green, this blue color. Yes, it's very hard to tell with the next one because the next one's pretty similar. This blue color, and it has teeny bit of like a purpley pink bits. Very subtle. I love those. And then I wanted to try to do purple. So I got these. So they look very similar to this one, especially in this light. But it is more of a purple than it is blue. I do have one of these skeins. This one is going to be an oops because I didn't realize I had some dye on my fingers and I went ahead and touched it. So this is going to be an oops skein because it's got a little bit of burgundy and pink speckles on it on accident. This one is more what it's supposed to be. So there are some really light patches in this one. Because doing purple, it's a little difficult, especially when you mix two colors, because, you know, purple, red, blue like to break a bit. It's all within the chemistry. And then I decided I was going to, so this isn't how they're going to come. I need to work on these. But my idea is with these two, I'm going to break these up into 20-gram minis, and they are going to be, I'm going to list these as separates, or you can add them to one of these as a sock set. Let's see. Oh, so cute. And then this could be your little 20-gram mini to go with any of these, because all the colors I used for these minis, or I mean, not minis, I can't talk. For these colors, I speckled in here. This one's not twisted very well, but I used all the colors to speckle in this this, which will become minis, which can be an add-on, or you can buy separate. That's totally up to you. So I thought that would be super cute to do. One other colorway was just a one-off. Thought I'd just see how it would look. I wanted to try a technique. That's pretty much what it was. I wanted to try a technique. I didn't do so great at the technique, but I still got this lovely color out of it, so these will go up. It's a teal with burgundy speckles all over. I have an idea for a name with this, but I want to see what my daughter might come up with first. We'll see. Yep. So that's the opposite, or the different, you know, it's not like the others. So yeah, that is what I have. And it will go in my shop on Friday. I forgot the date of Friday. I'm not sure what the date is, but it'll be 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. All these will have names, and they will go in the shop then. Ouch. So yeah. Also the Advent stuff still good to go. I still, pre-orders will open on the 16th of April. I'm still working on a possible alternative for budget friendly. Any suggestions you have for a more budget friendly version would be great. Like, do you want 13 minis? Do you want 24 minis minus a full skein? Do you want, yeah, like 13 minis with goodies, or 24 without a lot of goodies? You know, what kind of budget-friendly ideas do you have? Okay, so that is about it. I need to run some laundry. I need to put all this stuff away and go about my day before work starts. Yeah, not wearing my watch. Okay, guys, I will talk to you in a week. Bye.